Hello and welcome to the Outcast. I'm your host HC, and with me is.
Wolf.
And today we're back with some more anime. Can you tell who picked it? Hey,
It
hint,
was
it's not me.
no, it was HC this time. HC
Yeah, sure.
loved this show.
Yeah, I mean, I am the anime guy, obviously. I'm not the one who probably had a lot of hot takes about anime that would make any anime fan scream, but
Eh,
so, but you know something? Wolf had recommended me a bunch of anime for this podcast before, and some of them I liked, some of them I liked less. But so I'm always up for giving something new a shot. And
Listen, I
as
try
you
to
can,
pick decent. I try to pick ones that I think are interesting. Sometimes that
well,
works out. Sometimes it doesn't.
so today we are talking about, if you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, "Sentenced to be a Hero." So
Mhm.
my introduction to this is Wolf told me, "Hey, you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Sure." So,
Yeah.
how did you hear about this? What is your history with this? Just
Uh.
to.
So I know this was, I believe, originally a novel. Yeah, light novel series. I have not read a ton of the light novel, but I was introduced to it from basically it being announced that it was coming out and liking the look of it a lot because it I don't know about you, but seeing this, it very much reminds me of kind of your older style of art for
Yeah,
older anime.
that's something that I will give the show right away. There is something very old school about the animation style, which is not. I'm not saying this is a bad thing at all. I
No,
think it looks really. I think it looks great.
but yeah, that's how I heard about it, and I decided to sit down and watch it, and then I realized, oh, the first episode is basically a little mini movie, and I'm like, all right, sure, and it won me over from there. And
Mhm.
I think it's great. I love the animation style. It's very beautiful, and I very much enjoy the world building and the characters from this.
Well, for my opinion, as I always do, let's start with the good. I think the concept for this show is really interesting. Not just in terms of the premises. I think it's a very interesting concept in terms of how you define the general terms in storytelling, right? We'll get more to this in spoilers, obviously, but how you see different people in this kind of story, in how you name stuff, how you get a point across. I think it's a very interesting take on some other stories that we've seen in the past, right? Like, it's
Hmm.
nothing super original. We've seen stuff like this, but
I mean,
it's
at the end of the day,
it
right? It is basically a Suicide Squad, like similar idea.
yeah. Yeah, again, we'll talk about this more because I don't want to give stuff away yet, but
That's fair.
yeah, so I've seen kind of people compare this to Suicide Squad, and for a good reason. It's basically that, but
Hmm.
I think it's done in an interesting way, and also
Agreed.
in terms of the world itself and the themes it tries to tackle. I think it's really interesting.
Agreed.
Now, sadly, it merged with it. I just think the show kind of repeats itself. So, and that kind of stopped me from enjoying it a bit more than I wanted to. But so my thing is, I do recommend it. I'm saying that for the concept alone, I think it's worth a watch. But if uh, if you don't like your time being wasted about the same thing, essentially, take this into account. That's all I'm gonna say for now.
That's that's fair. I actually would agree with that. Like some of the characters are a little bit, especially later on. Like it definitely feels like I would say from what I have learned, the story opens up a lot more after this point. But
Hmm.
I can definitely understand someone watching this and feeling like I've seen this story before and they're not doing enough new with it to really get me interested, which is fair.
Hmm. So is this like a thing though that maybe for season two things are going to like improve, quote unquote?
From the
Is
way
this
you
like a general
talk and what
consensus?
you dislike, from what I've seen and heard, yeah, the story opens up a lot more after the ending that you get here in season one.
Well, then, consider me interesting because I know a season two is coming. So
Yes,
I'll be interested in seeing how they can improve this because I dug the concept. Like the concept is really cool when you get down to it.
very much so.
And so you know what? We gave our general thing. You would you say you really liked or loved the show?
Oh yeah,
Just to be
I
clear.
very much enjoy it. I think this is a great show. I loved everything about this show very much so. Like I had fun the entire way through. Uh, as you said, there were a few points where I definitely felt like maybe this could have ended like an episode or two earlier. Given general idea, right? Like it does kind of start to drag on a little bit with certain character elements, especially. But even then, I still very much enjoyed it.
And on my end, I would say very interesting concept. I would recommend checking it out just for that alone. But be ready though that if you get tired of things quickly or that don't you you don't want to follow too many characters and too many plot details that don't necessarily go anywhere, approach with caution. But otherwise, I would recommend because I think the concept
Agreed.
is cool enough to see, and the action sequences also. I would recommend it for that.
Well, for me, like the big thing that I really enjoyed about it was the way it did its world building and how it world builded through the characters. And as you learn more about them, you begin to learn more about this world and kind of how it works.
So just to be clear, spoilers from this point on, just
Well,
to be safe.
I'm being
So,
very generic, but yeah,
I
spoilers.
know.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, so spoilers in three, two, one. Till here, okay. So just because we talked about Suicide Squad earlier, I was like, what makes this more fascinating to me than Suicide Squad is that in Suicide Squad, you had a black and white kind of representation of what is a hero, what is a villain. The
Mm,
point of the Suicide Squad isn't that they are now villains turned heroes. They are just villains that the government is now trying to use in order to just get other shit done.
yeah.
And they are not necessarily heroes, though. Here, the whole definition of the word hero is flipped on its head because when you think about a hero, you think about, the cool guy, the good guy that gets stuff done. Here, a hero isn't a role that people take lightly. People look down on heroes. That's like the lowest common denominator. Heroes are not good people. Even when they are doing heroic things, people don't like them. The heroes are kind of terrible in this, and I thought it was really interesting.
But again, like I love how they see the hero again. Like it's all a lot of it is all like propaganda, right? Like these are supposed to be evil, terrible people who've done evil, terrible things, and some of them have. But at the same
Mhm.
time, there's also this thing of they are like
There is,
helping save people, and people do begin to like them and root for them, and also as you learn more about the world, you begin to understand like, oh, maybe they're not evil necessarily. But then you learn more about them and you're like, oh no, some of these people are terrible people, but you know, but
yeah,
they're
and
still
that
doing good things.
Mhm. But again, that's what I mean though, that because of how this world works and how the whole hero thing works, it's interesting to see that again the word hero is not a good word in this universe. I think
No.
that's a pretty clever deconstruction of the whole, because you get a lot of the deconstruction of this, deconstruction of that. This doesn't really, I wouldn't say that it deconstructs something, but it deconstructs the world. What if in another world, a fantasy world no less, the world hero is not a good world? These are not good people. I think it's fascinating, and I also like that you can say whatever you want about politics in a fantasy world, and to be fair, this show doesn't really handle that all that great when you get more and when you get further into it. But it's really interesting that, like you said, the people are starting to like the heroes, but the government is still trying to slander them as they are terrible people. They are not protecting you because they care about you. They are protecting you because they are shit, and we are punishing them. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I agree. And I love how like the punishment works as well. How hey, you can die as many times as you want. We will continue to bring you back. The loss of dying here is you losing your memory and becoming
Yeah,
basically a savage almost.
yeah, because the one thing that I was considering calling the show out, I had a note for it. It's like, oh, they are invincible. That kind of means I kind of noted it to the side as well. Guess there are no real stakes in this show now. But then when you get down to, oh, they are losing something if they die. It's not that they just come back to life. There are consequences to dying. So I think that really helped with the action and actually show that you don't want them to die because they would still lose something. They could come back, sure, but it's not going to be the same. So with
Especially
that,
like
uh,
in Xylo's case where he wants to prove his innocence and things like that, right? And he can't lose his memory so he can remember the people who, screwed him over basically, right? But then
yeah.
as you start to learn more about some of the other characters like Venetim, like he also can't lose his memory because he knows something so important that no one knows.
Yeah, and this is the thing I like, that there's reason to care about these people. They might be terrible people in the context of the world, but there is something there. There's You don't want bad things to happen to them because they are fighting for some sort of a cause, and we know that like usually with politics, I suppose the government isn't the nicest of people, right? It's not a good. The people in the government aren't necessarily nice
Well,
to you,
in this situation
and
it's like the government and the church.
yeah. To be fair, is this really a fantasy world? This is the real world. But
Hmm.
but controversial jokes aside, controversial jokes aside, there's the one thing that I enjoy about this is that, again, you take something that maybe in the real world you can kind of point out, maybe you can kind of see this is but there's something interesting, and there is like this fantasy element to it, that you're interested in the way this world works. You want
Hmm.
to learn more about how this world works. Again, the concept I have absolutely zero issues with. The concept I dug
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
agreed. Fully
Now we
agree.
get to the characters.
Uh-huh.
Now we get to the characters.
Uh-huh.
So, you know what? You mentioned Silo. He's our protagonist.
Hmm.
What do you think? Let's start with you. You might be more positive than I am.
So I do like Xylo, but I have heard from other people that they're not fond of him. It sounds like you may not be super fond of him either. He is, in terms of the cast of characters that were given from this show, even just looking at like the penal hero unit, right? Like the group that is, the heroes, uh, and the
Mhm.
group you see most often, he is probably the least interesting among them as of right now.
And that's my issue. He's the least interesting, and he's the main character. I am supposed to connect with him the most.
That's fair.
Uh, and again, I kind of bring this up because he actually has a reason to go after this government. Because he can die and lose his memories because there's this very specific thing that he wants to do after this is all said and done. He has a mission beyond that. That's interesting about him. But in terms of the character, he's basic. He's how do I explain this without being too mean? He is what a person who doesn't know Shadow the Hedgehog thinks Shadow the Hedgehog is.
I You'll be surprised. You're not the first person I've heard say something along those
Real.
lines that he's
Oh,
like
I thought.
edgy without
Okay.
understanding. Yeah. You're not
Yeah,
alone in that.
because comparing him to Shadow, because that's the first thing that came to mind. Shadow is an edgy character, right? That's his thing. That's what
Hmm. Hmm.
people would know about him. But there's a reason to that edge. There are layers underneath that edge. There's more to this character than just edgy and, tough and dark. There's more to it. There's a backstory. There's a bit more. There's a bit, like I said, more layers to it. Here, yeah, he has a backstory. Like I said, there's something interesting about him have wanting to go after the government after this is all said and done. There's something there. Problem is, we don't really know that something, and yet anyway. And the other thing is that you see some of it in the final episode. There's a bit where he's a bit more playful and stuff, but all he is just edgy. He's the badass edgy guy. That's really all there is to it.
You're not wrong. And again, I've seen other people make the same complaint that he's too edgy and it kind of takes them out of the character, especially if he's the guy we're with the most, if he's the main character. They're just not able to connect to him as much or be as interested in him because it's not the kind of character they enjoy, which is perfectly fair.
It's
I
not that I have a problem with the archetype. It's that again, I expect if he's the main guy, I expect there to be a bit more to him than just edgy guy. Because in other anime, like if maybe another comparison is maybe Levi from Attack on Titan,
mm,
I get like, you get what I mean with
no,
that.
I get you. I think
Yes.
it's something that
So
you're gonna see him grow more and become more open as time goes on, right? And
mhm,
they show that in
yeah,
season one to some degree, like the shell cracking
which
somewhat.
yeah, but that's the thing. If this is supposed to be something, if he's supposed to grow and the shell's supposed to crack a bit, I don't feel like it was built up in this season.
That's
I
fair.
think it was I only see the cracks at the end, where by this point in character development, the shell needs to be completely gone, not just cracked.
That's fair. Again, like I would agree with you. Like it is, in my opinion, also one of the weaker parts of the story that Xylo is probably the weakest character out of the cast that we have so far, which is unfortunate since he is the main character as far as we can tell.
And
But
And the other thing, though, is that sadly, the other characters don't really have much character to them themselves. Like each one of them is kind of, oh, this is the funny guy. This is the crazy guy. This is the old guy. I don't really feel like any of them had that hook besides the one character trait.
I disagree with you somewhat on that. I think some of
So
them
tell
have
me
do have
how.
more going on. Well, I mean, so for me, it's definitely a thing of looking at their like how they introduced them, especially with like, hey, here's the backstory of how some of them became a part of the hero unit, and
Mhm.
that definitely to me shines a lot more light on everything and shines more light on the character and why they act the way they act. Like Venetim, for example, uh the kind of like the dude who stands back and doesn't do any fighting,
Yeah.
like him being someone who basically becomes a hero because he was a con man who conned people out of things, and he ended up writing some news stories that's like, hey, these were just lies, but actually they weren't lies, these are the complete truth. We don't need you talking about how the evil blight has infected, the leadership and the church and the government. So we're gonna make you a hero, and you can't tell anyone. And if you do talk about it, then you die.
Yeah, so you see, this is an interesting backstory.
Mhm.
Now, you put him as a character in this show, in this group, I don't feel him.
That's fair, but I don't know. To me, I think it adds more depth to the character, and I'm able to look at it in a way that, okay, I can see why he acts the way he acts now, and why he's doing what he's doing, and I'm curious, and it makes me more curious of what he'll do going forward personally.
I am interested in the backstory. I'll say that, but when it comes to the present day with the in the show itself, I didn't feel as connected to him personally. But there's again, this is the part. This is the thing that I say when there's a good concept that I feel like they can't get out, which frustrates me because I see it. I see the character. I see like this could be awesome. Why is it not clicking with me here? You get me? This
Mm,
is, and I think part of it, and this might connect to all the characters, and you tell me if you agree with me. When I look at the entire show, besides general backstory here and there, what is the show besides fight sequences? And don't get me wrong, the fight sequences look great. And again, there are some artistic choices with the animation that look really good. There's this old school vibe to it, which kind of takes me back, and I think they are using it really well. There's a scene in the final episode, we'll get to it when we talk about the character, but there are a few scenes which look absolutely amazing.
mm-hmm.
And but then I just see another fight, and and the fairies, the creatures that they fight, not that much variety with them, and the fight sequences are very frequent and they look great, but at some point I'm just kind of tired.
You just don't get it. No,
Okay, you know what? If I don't, I don't. That's why
no,
I'm
it
bringing this up
it
to you because I
it's
want to
fair.
hear what you say.
It's fair though, right? It's. Hmm. I don't. The problem is I don't disagree with you, but it's one of those things of personally, I do think, at least for me, right, there's enough good here. And as said, right, I'm just super interested in this world. And I think that maybe that's the thing that won me over is the world building, like you said. And I love the concept. So I'm willing to stick with it far more than others might be because I want to see if they can bridge the gap between how good the concept are and at times a little bit how lackluster the characters are. Because I do feel like I can see these characters growing into something more further on in the story, right?
Which, to be fair, is something that you and I have been having these discussions since the dawn of this podcast, basically, that you are really into world building and you can
Yes.
excuse some stuff if the world building interests you,
Hmm.
and there is some really good world building here. Now, I really like world building too. I mentioned it's my favorite thing about this show, but I also need a reason to care about the characters in
Yeah.
this world because I spend time with them,
Yeah. I think
essentially.
you tend to be more character focused and invested to some degree, and I tend to be. I'm willing to forgive that a lot more if I find something else that interests me a lot about a piece of media. In this case, the world, right?
Which is completely fair.
Yeah, like again, right? Like that's a big thing for media is just being able to if there's something you enjoy about it, even if it's not the characters, that's fine, right? Like we all get something different out of different media, basically.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why I bring all these points up to you because I know your taste. I know what you like. So this is one of those things where I want to bring this up to you. Hey, here's what I think about this. What do you think? And surprisingly, you say that you agree about a lot of the stuff I say I didn't really care for,
Well, because
but
I mean, I
you're
can
but
recognize that I thought, and maybe I shouldn't have thought this, but I did think that, hey, maybe this is the time I'll win you over with the world building,
to
and that was
and to
not the case.
again. Oh, well, I'll say it again.
Oh
The
yeah,
world
yeah,
building in this show, super good. I love the world building in here, but the world building isn't the only thing in the show, right?
yes, that's
There's
fair.
characters, there's a story, so I'm looking at this too.
I will say, to me, the characters do strike me as being similar to a lot of your old school anime characters, where
Yeah,
I would honestly say, like, and again, I'm probably gonna get some horrible flack for this when I say that a lot of your old school anime characters were kind of shallow back in the day. Like there wasn't a lot of
Yeah,
depth to some of them at the very least.
I would argue not just animated shows in general.
True, true.
Like when you look back at some stuff, like for lack of a better term, let's take the Ninja Turtles, right? Because that's something that started back then and is still going on now.
Yeah.
Look at their personalities in the 80s cartoon, look at their personalities in some of the later iterations.
Mm.
They're all still the same trait, right? But in the 80s they were a lot more one note.
The 80s probably wouldn't make something like The Last Ronin, right?
I mean, if you wanna go there, the original comic, but again,
Fair.
but that also the last Ronin really focuses on the personality of this one turtle is a part of the story, right? It's
Yeah.
a part of the thing that makes the story walk and so impactful. Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily get a story like this in the 80s, but you need the 80s to like bring this up to where we are.
Yes, yes.
But
It's growth, right? Like we always grow and learn as we move forward, and sensibilities change, and what people are interested in and what they like change as well, right? This doesn't necessarily mean things weren't in depth back then. This doesn't necessarily mean that, because there was stuff that was in depth and more character focused and driven back then too.
you know something, kind of side tangent here, but I think it's something that's interesting to bring up in terms of
Hmm.
this show. Well, I kind of came across a discussion. I don't remember where it was, probably in a YouTube video. Somebody said like that with DC Comics, they have less interesting heroes but more interesting villains, and with Marvel, it's the opposite. They have more interesting heroes but less interesting villains. So I brought this up as a point of discussion in another podcast, and like what about what's more important to a story, the hero or the villain in their eyes, and they did kind of talk about the point that I heard about DC and Marvel, and somebody made the comment that back in the day, yeah, because DC has been around for a long time, and they started operating during a time where you didn't really expect much of a hero outside of them being a hero, right? They need to
Mm.
stop the bad guys. You don't like you look at Superman, for example. What are his flaws? Nothing. So you need a more layered bad guy to go up against them because that's what pushes the story forward, right?
Yeah.
And in a way, the reason people say that Marvel might have the stronger heroes is because they came out during the time where they started making the heroes more flawed. Like they had families, they had lives outside of the whole thing. They weren't billionaires, they weren't gods. You get what I mean?
No, that's fair.
So so in a way, it's interesting. I think it's interesting because when you say this really goes back, it feels like a really old school show. Yeah, it kind of goes back to this time where the characters have this one personality trait, and that's what the personality trait they'll have for the rest of the show without much growth. In today's animated world, we've seen a lot of shows where maybe a character development in an episode wouldn't necessarily continue in the next one, but there is an overarching plot. There is a journey. There
Mhm.
are steps to get a character from point A to B. Maybe I'm just used to it, or maybe I'm just not a fan of how they did the stereotypes. I can't tell you necessarily because I haven't thought about it until now.
I mean,
So, but
it might be a thing that, from the way you talk, it might be a thing of the characters here might be moving too slow for your interest, right? In terms of
could
changing.
be.
Because I don't know if all of them will, but it definitely feels like some of the characters will change over time to some degree, especially our main
Yeah,
character. Or I would
because
say
you know
like our
what?
main three characters.
Because let's put what's his face? How do you pronounce it? Shiro.
Xylo.
We just said his name, and yeah,
Xylo.
I forgot. I'm an
All good.
idiot, but But so let's talk about Theorita for a second. Here's a character that can grow, and I think she does grow
Hmm.
in the show. Now, if you are a fan of the stereotypical like little kid in a really
She's the
powerful
little
kid
bean, and
trope,
we must protect her at all costs.
yeah,
That's
but
the stereotype.
combined with the fact that she's a goddess, right?
Yeah,
You're gonna combine two stereotypes here.
yeah.
Now, whether or not you like this trend or not, and I know some people don't, I personally, it depends on the kid. I think she does grow in this, but not in terms of personality, but in terms of her power, which is still something, mind you. If but is season two just going to be this again? She's just going to go back and be the little kid.
I don't know. I cannot say.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
this
know
is not
that
something.
much about the story. What I will say is
I'm not asking you for answers.
no,
I'm
no,
just
no.
saying
Yeah,
this is something to consider.
no, that's fair. I think, and that is a bit of an unfortunate thing that I think she will always stay like the little bean, quote unquote. But you are right. I do think I think she did grow personality somewhat as well as in power because you do see like say close to the end, right, where she uses the blade that Xylo got her to protect herself.
Yeah,
That's
but that
different for her, I would
that
say.
in her abilities she grew. Yeah, she
Yeah.
learned something with being with Silo the whole time. That's a true enough. Let's see if this is something that actually sticks.
That's fair. Like it definitely it's definitely one of those things of again, it would I would say that it would start to hurt my enjoyment as well if season 2 came out and the characters haven't really moved or don't really move that much from where they were in season 1 by the end of season 2, right? That would be very unfortunate, and even I would start to, I would say, you know, become more critical of that, right?
I get you, but let's talk about this later because if we talked about so what do you think about Terrorita in terms of the show? Because we started talking about her,
I
so
mean,
might as well.
I love my little beans. Most of them,
Fair
I'm not
enough.
opposed. I'm one of those people that I enjoy the little bean characters, so I'm for it. She's
I mean,
great.
as long as you don't want to fuck them, it's all good.
Yeah.
like,
Oh boy.
I know people, sadly.
Oh,
So
I'm aware. Believe me. And no, I don't. She's
you
adorable.
see,
She's adorable little bean, and that's as far as it goes. I do think it's a really good idea to pair her with Xylo. I don't
Mhm.
think she works with anyone else, right?
And there's also the thing that she is a goddess, and his crime is murdering a goddess. That's
Yes, like
I
that's a
like the.
big part too.
Mhm.
And you can see like they do show that he has PTSD somewhat over murdering that goddess and how he
Yeah.
sees Teorita as that former goddess, but then starts to see Teorita as her own person, an individual as well,
Yeah,
slowly
and
but
also their
surely.
personality, and despite their personalities gonna be in one note, they clash well. Like the broody, serious guy, and the little girl who wants to be a part of the action and to prove herself. It's a cute dynamic.
And it is one of those dynamics that they can help each other grow as well if the show allows that. Now,
Yeah,
granted, as we've talked about quite a bit already, season 1 doesn't do a ton with that. Again, I do think there's some growth, but it is small. Whether or not that would be enough for you as a viewer, you'll have to decide for yourself, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much if they're gonna go there. But have you heard of the game Pragmata?
I have. Oh, yes, I have.
I've been playing it recently, and I think if like I got a bit of vibes for similar to that game. Not to say that the characters are exactly the same or anything, but I'm like, this is where you can aim for. Just saying, just a tip.
That's fair. That's not a bad call. Japan doing a lot of dad and little girl things here lately.
but let's not forget that it all started with The Last of Us. No, I'm kidding. There
I
was probably
mean,
something before, but but The Last of Us is like the first one that I can think of that's like really kind of pushed it. Maybe.
I will argue, Last of Us, not. I mean, not even technically, just not Japanese studio. That's Western, but
Mhm.
you're not wrong. That probably isn't far from where it started. I would say because ever since then we've gotten a lot of dad and little girl stuff,
I mean, I will say
dad
we
and
will
daughter.
talk about the show. We'll talk about the show upright at some point. I am promising myself that we'll get there. But that I mean, you want to know? This is not a concept that just made it from America to Japan. No, no, no.
No,
This made it from America to freaking Australia and then to Japan. The
for sure.
Holy Trinity, if the Holy Trinity that I didn't even know existed, but here we are. But that's tangenting aside too much. Yeah. So these two, good dynamic. Want to see it develop because I see the potential. I see the cute moments that can come out of this. I can see the interactions. Just give it to us. It's all that we need.
Now, talking about the characters that do and don't grow and feel a little bit more one note this season, I think Kivia is the one that grows the most this season. And
Yes.
I would argue, at least for this season, I think she, even though she's not there as much, I think she feels like more of the main character than Xylo does at times for this
To
season at least.
I would even say I was waiting for this because at first she did again she was like, oh, the tough commander chick. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
fair. You need this character there. Why not? But then you get to like the final episode, and
Oh
I'm like,
man.
when the final episode hits and she has to talk with her uncle, and like this is the thing I was talking about with the animation there, by the way, that
Mm.
when her entire world shatters on her, shatters around her, and you see like rain outside, but it's not even rain. It's just pencil strikes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes more and more abstract, and when it becomes clearer, is the point where she realizes I have to kill my uncle, who she loved so much. He
Mm.
was her inspiration. He was everything. That's such a cool artistic moment. And this is the point where I mean we go that like I didn't really think much about Kivia throughout the show, and suddenly like she's why is she my favorite now? Why
Well,
do I care more about her than anyone else?
it's interesting, right? Because they show smaller moments with her. It seems like because you get a little bit of her like trying to like in a around episode 7, I think, trying to like treat Terita and be a little bit, and be more kind to her and give her a little
Yeah.
bit more privilege and things of that nature compared to how she treats Xylo or some of the other heroes. And
Yeah.
you learn a little bit later on that it's because they were going to basically like sacrifice Terita to do whatever, right? To like create a weapon or something like that. I forget the exact detail. But basically, they didn't care about Terita since she wasn't as strong of a goddess as some of the other goddesses, right?
Yeah,
And
she's still getting there. She's not all the way there.
but since then she's like proved herself, and so you get a little bit of this of, oh, Kivia feels bad about what they were going to do, so she's trying to make up for that in some way, right? In her own way at least.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And then you
And
get the
you
stuff
see,
of her palling around with Silo as well, and them kind of doing detective work again. Like you see these different sides of Kivia compared to what you see of all the other characters.
yeah, you see it, and again, there's a bit of it that just so she's the tough commander girl. But it was nice to see her that they try to give her those moments, like with
Mm.
Theoritia, or or everything. And suddenly, without being ready, the final episode happens, and it's like a slap to the face where you realize, fuck, there's so much more to, like when season 2, I could give less of a damn about anyone else. I want to see how her story continues.
Fair, very fair. I'm in the same boat.
because this is also when we learn something interesting about being a hero, that it's not just like, oh, you are essentially punished by being on the front lines and fighting monsters and everything, and everyone hates you for being that one. No, 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 no. There's this whole thing that, in order to become a hero, each one of them died already. So Kivia has to make a choice if she's going to die or not. And because she wants to keep fighting, she she commits suicide. And that's what the show that's really damn clever. That's not clever, but it's like, well, damn.
Well, it's also right where you learn too that a guy you probably think is a villain might not be a villain because he's the one who like tells Kivia about the true nature of the hero unit and what they're doing, and and he's the one that punishes a lot of the hero unit as well and sentences them to be on the hero unit and all that. So
By the way, I have to say, I usually when we do anime, I watch it in Japanese, but this one I watched it in English because I couldn't find the Japanese dub, and I'm like, well,
interesting.
I'm on a schedule, so might as well.
You know?
That guy's voice,
Hmm.
that that guy's voice, I couldn't take him seriously. I just couldn't. I just maybe it's part of the idea. I'm not sure what the Japanese voice is like, but when a character is talking like this and he's being
That's
all of this,
so.
it's like, am I watching Pegasus on Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged? What is this? I couldn't take it seriously.
I was thinking about asking you this. And now I'm like, I really do think this is the case. I think, and I hate to say this because dubs do generally have done way better nowadays than they ever did in the past.
Yeah,
I think the dub for this one isn't that good because some of your complaints I've heard from other people who also said, "No, I just watched the English VA version, and that was it." And I'm like, your reads on some of the characters are different from some of the reads I got from some of the characters, and I watched the Japanese VA. I watched the subtitled version, right?
interesting, interesting.
So I
Usually,
would
that's what I
love to hear
do.
your opinion of the Japanese VA work, and if you would still feel the same about some of the characters.
I'll have to try it and get back to you. Maybe for season two, I'll do my best.
Yeah, I'm
But
very interested
because
because you're
because
not the
yeah,
first person I've had tell me this. It's been more than one person, which I find fascinating.
so for the record, no offense to the English VAs, right? They're
No,
all
no.
great VAs,
Again,
and
they're all doing really
and
well. I've watched it in English as well, right?
mhm. Yeah, and but kind of like you said with the animation, that it feels like from way back. Some reads do feel like an old anime dub from way back where people just didn't really get it, so you
I
get
wonder if
a
they
lot
did
of
that on purpose now at this
if,
point.
now that I wonder if this is supposed to be it, then on the one hand, freaking salute
If they did
for
that on
try.
purpose, like just clap,
If this is
clap.
supposed to be on purpose, if this is supposed to be on purpose, then I freaking salute you for going with the vibe all the way to the end. But at the same time, it's still not the best dub you could have come up with considering other anime dubs that are out there. Again, I haven't listened to many, but yeah.
That is wild. That is so wild. I again, I could be wrong. To me, having watched it in both English and Japanese, I would say I prefer Japanese for this one, simply because I do think the English VAs and how they portray some of the characters does give a different vibe than what the Japanese VAs give. At least in terms of this show. I've not seen that for a ton of shows. More often than not, I think generally, especially nowadays, it's more or less the same vibe. But for this one, this is one of the few shows I would say there is a bit of a different vibe if you watch Japanese versus English in terms of voice acting.
Well then, interesting.
I'm not going to
Very
say it's a
interesting.
huge difference, but I do think there is a difference.
Well, either way, either way. So I just want to bring up that guy's voice in the English dub just took me out of it. But
That's
otherwise,
that's so funny though.
because it really felt like it felt like, am I watching the abridged version that's supposed to be a parody? Is that what this is?
Hmm.
Nope, that's the official dub. And again, no offense to the voice actor, just was this really the best direction? You
Yes.
know what? You watch both the dub and the original. What does he
Hmm.
sound like in Japanese?
Uh,
Did he try to imitate that? Is it similar?
no,
Is it
it's
different?
not similar at all. It's very different.
Then what is the point?
It's
Then
I
what
don't
is the
know.
point?
I don't know. Like in the English VA, I agree with you. It's kind of goofy. In the Japanese VA, I would say there's this deeper, more serious tone to it, more like refined almost.
Mhm.
It makes him feel like he's that kind of manipulator in the shadows kind of deal, right? If you know that kind of voice that I'm getting
Yeah,
at.
yeah. Mhm.
And you're right. In the
Which
English VA, he does not feel like that manipulator in the shadows at all.
no, he doesn't, and because in the way he's written, what he does, I get that he's supposed to be a manipulator of some kind, but this doesn't sound like a manipulator. It sounds
Sounds like a
no.
goofball.
Like I said, he sounds like Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, and I only know that because a friend of mine keeps doing that voice whenever we are hanging out, and it drives me insane.
That is a wild but good comparison. Actually, he does sound
The
Yugi
fact that you
boy.
agree with that, the fact that you agree with it
It's a
shows
good
everything.
comparison. You're not wrong. It's a good comparison.
And you know, there are a lot of voice actors that start on YouTube and then make their way to professional anime. Maybe it's the
Hmm.
guy.
It's him.
Is it actually him? I was
I
just
don't
joking.
know.
But
No, I
okay.
don't know.
What's the character's name again? I am looking it up.
It
I want to do
is Kafzen. Kafzen the Chrome, I believe, is his name.
Kafzan. Let's see where you are in the. Keep talking about something while I'm looking this up.
Let me make sure. I mean, that's the character's name. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
Kafzan.
character.
Okay. So Rankin Mordock
Yeah.
is the English VA. There's no Wikipedia page, so I'm googling it.
He
Let's
could be. Who
see.
knows?
He looks a bit like Pelek, which is a YouTuber singer, but let's see here. Um, just a lot of other
Oh,
roles he's done.
he was the voice
I'm
of
not.
Zunisha from One Piece. Interesting.
You
If you're
see?
curious, Zunisha's a big giant fuck off elephant.
Mhm. And apparently he's a year younger than me. Well then.
So I don't think he
Okay.
did the I don't think he
No,
did
I'm looking
Pegasus.
this up. I don't think so as well. But you know what? Fooled me for a second. If I had to look this up live, then you know what?
That's so funny though. That's so funny.
Well, so now that we fulfilled that curiosity, and
Hmm.
we can move
Hmm.
on with it. So, anything else to talk about regarding the show itself?
I mean, do you want to like mention? Is there any of the other hero unit side characters that interested you? I am curious.
To be fair, that's my thing. Not really. There are so many characters, and I can't really point out someone. Like there's
Oh,
Dota. There's Dota who's kind of like, okay, I think I can vibe with with this character, but
mhm.
again, not much. Like after then, and he's like in episode one, and then he disappears for a bit, and then he comes back, and so I can't. There are so many characters that I don't feel like half of them don't really get the time to shine.
You didn't like Norgale at all? Our king,
Norgal,
the guy who thinks he's king. He might
I mean,
actually be the king, considering this world we don't know yet.
it was funny for a bit, but again, if you don't give me more to chew on,
That's fair.
it,
That's fair.
I'm getting tired of it. Like, if it turns out that he's actually the king, you know what? I take it back. Good job. That's actually funny. But again, if all he has is I'm the king.
Listen,
Okay.
I very much enjoyed it because it's this constant thing of he's just like, yo, I'm the king. I'm gonna protect all of you people. Help me do that. And everybody's like, yo, we support you. He's the king of the people, even if he's not the king, but he might be the king. We don't know yet.
Yeah, like
I
ask again
enjoy that.
later. We don't know. Ask again later. But again and again, I go back to this. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that I need more. I need a
That's
bit
fair.
more to actually care. And who knows? I might get that more. And I guess this is kind of a tangenting into the final bit here. What would you like to see in season two?
I mean, number one, I definitely agree with you. I would like to see more from the characters and see them grow a bit more, right? Like, again, I'm someone who loves world building. I can vibe even if I don't get like a ton of character development. However, as
Mhm.
said, I am someone who even I can't defend if you do an entire second season and the characters don't really move from point A hardly at all still, right? So I definitely
Mhm.
want to see more from each of the characters and see them grow a bit more and get more backstory from each of them and how that develops them moving forward, right?
Yeah, I agree. So I kind of like you. I want to see the characters develop a bit. I want to see some stuff progress because you have a fantastic world. You have a fantastic idea. I dig the setting for this show.
Yes.
Now, just make me dig what's going on in the show itself. That's you do that. If they do that season two, I'm sure I'm going to love. So just give us a bit more. And in terms of character, I'm really interested in seeing where the Kivia story goes.
Yeah. Agreed.
I want to see how what's the resolution with that. I like to see Silo get a bit more of a character development besides just you know and yeah, I'm curious to see more. I want to see where things develop, where things go with this show. Even if I didn't really care much for what's given to me now, I am willing to say I'm along for the ride. Let's see whenever season two hits, show me what you got.
I also throw in again, as someone who loves his world building. I'm I hope they continue to make this the fairies and blight versus the humans and the group of humans that are actually working with the fairies because they think that's the best option. I want to see more of the politics, right? I hope they're able to continue to keep that interesting as well because
I would like to see more of the politics too, but not at the cost of the
that's
characters.
fair.
Like
That's fair.
if you can, like something, maybe start planting seeds that there's something else going on in the background, but also don't forget that you have characters that you need to develop.
I think
Like
that's
don't take away.
I think that's fair, actually. I think we've spent season one planting the seeds. We as an audience now know that okay, there's more going on here. So I think season two would be a good time to take a step back from that and say, okay, here's the characters, and start. And if you need to, I mean, you could have already been doing it. So just do more of the characters connected into that seedy underbelly, right? And what's going on in the background but use that to develop the characters more too. At least, at the very least, Xylo and Teorita, right?
Yeah, like Zalo and Terry are, but obviously because they are kind of I guess they are the main. These two and Kivia, they are at least in the Wikipedia, they are listed as the three main characters.
Yeah,
So these three most important. Everyone else, I would like to see a bit more, but
yeah,
make me
agreed.
care.
Again, like I'm interested in seeing more of the others as well. Again, there's some of them I liked more than others. Like I very much loved Vanitium and Norgale, and I'm very curious of Rhino, him being a fairy as well, who chose to like join the hero unit because he enjoys
Yeah.
killing other fairies. Like that's such an
So
like that's a character that gets introduced so late, so you don't get to deal much with him. But I think he's probably going to be a potentially very interesting character moving forward too.
let us see whenever season two comes out. Which this came out this year, right? This came out earlier this year in 2026.
Yes, yeah, it was
So I am not.
January actually,
I
January to
don't
March.
think we're. I don't think we're going to get this until 2027. Then.
No, no,
2028
it'll be a
even.
while still, I believe.
Mm. Which, by all means, animation takes time. Take your time. Don't overwork your animators. Just, oh boy, this is gonna be a longer wait until we get to see if what we talk about will actually happen.
Huh.
But
Apparently,
we
this is
shall
getting the
see.
game as well. I did not know that.
That's something I was about to bring up on the Wikipedia page. It says that there was a game announced. So, Johnston, what kind of video game would you like to see based on this? Because,
You
uh,
know,
personal, because if you ask me, if you do like a Dynasty Warriors
I was gonna
clone
say the
in this world,
exact same thing.
oh,
The exact same thing
nice.
I was gonna say. A Muso Warrior game, a Muso game would be perfect for this. Honestly, it would be.
Musa is Musa the people who made Dynasty Warriors and
No,
Hyrule Warriors and all that?
the
Oh,
people that made it. Oh fuck! Why'd you ask me that? Muso is like
no,
kind
because
of
I
like
never.
what people call the genre.
Okay, so I didn't know that. That's why I asked.
Like they
But
just they
if
just
the
it basically just gets referred to as just Muso, but I believe the dev is Omega Force.
okay, regardless, I never heard the term Musa. Like when I'm thinking about this, people either say Dynasty Warriors or Hyrule Warriors. That's why I went with that. But yeah, I think that type of game would be perfect
It would.
for the
I agree.
for this show. Like
I
you have
fully
the
agree.
wide cast of characters. You have all the fairy enemies that you can do. Honestly, the game is not even. We don't even know what this game is. But if it's that, I already bought it. I have a copy already.
Sure.
I'm in.
I the Muso like type of game where it's basically where it just that hack and slash actiony title sort of deal works so well for so many things,
Yeah.
and that I'd be here for. It's very simple gameplay wise, but sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, sometimes you don't want to overthink about things. You just want to take a weapon and be a one man army against a bunch of nameless goons. That's all there's to it. And there's nothing wrong with something simple every once in a while.
I'm also, since we're briefly on the subject, small side tangent, I'm going to bring it up here. Nintendo, you've already let them do Hyrule Warriors. You should do a Pokemon Musou game.
Oh
You should
boy.
do that.
I have a friend who I'm not sure would listen to this, but if he would hear what you just said, he would have come so hard. That's all I'm gonna
Listen,
because
that's
oh
just
yeah.
my opinion. I think it would be great. I think it'd be good fun.
Which, which you know what they did like a Tekken with Pokemon characters, so
Yeah.
you may never know.
Listen, do more.
Mhm.
Give the IP
So
out.
here,
Let other people do things.
but anyway, yeah, let's that video game. Whoever's developing it, if you're listening, make it a Dynasty Warriors clone because let us tell you, you'll make a fortune. That's
Mm-hmm.
I might not be in the fan base, but I think the fan base would appreciate the idea.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments, I suppose. Uh, Anything else to say?
No. Go watch Sins to be a Hero. It's good.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I'm definitely happy that I saw it.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
I'm I'm here for it. Let's hope that the next season will be better and correct some of the issues that I kind of had with this,
Mm-hmm.
because I see the potential.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, that's all for this episode of The Outcast. We hope you enjoyed it. What do you think about Sentence to be a Hero? Did you like the first season? Did you read the novels? Are you excited for season two? What do you want to see? Are you excited about the game? Do you like our ideas for the game? You can tell us all about it in the comment section below, on our Tumblr, which is Berkcast Team, or on our Twitter, which is Berkcast with a capital B, capital C. So until next time, I was HC.
I was Wolf.
And we will see you all next time. Take care and sentence to be a hero or something. I don't know. I don't have a clever pun.
Bye bye.